Let's talk about the lunar cycle for March of 2020. For the past few months, I've been exploring the moon's daily transits using the Tower Ball system, which is really simple and amazing. Last month, I began to offer a personal reading about how these lunar transits relate to your chart. So this month, I'm definitely going to release that again. I'm going to do the same this month, but I'm going to add some new options to it and some improvements to it. I'll tell you more about that reading later, or if you're really interested in it, just go down to the description right now and find the link to it. But for now, what I want to talk about first is this lunar cycle. What is it all about? So I'll share some excerpts from some of the content of that reading so that you can get a basic sense for what this month involves, what the themes are. This month is based on the new moon in Shatabhishak. So the nature of Shatabhishak is the fundamental theme of what's going on as the background of the basis of this whole lunar cycle. In other words, it's the background of everything that should be in our mind about how we interact with what happens to us this month. So what is Shatabhishak all about? To put it in a few words, I would say it like this. Can you be far out without being spaced out? Can you explore the unknown without being oblivious to the known? Can you be mystical without living in a myth? Can you be tangible and solid with your big, expansive, unconventional side? Can you be weird and unusual without being unrelatable and distant? These are the things that you want to be working on this month. Get the answers to these questions to be yes. So now let's take a look at how each individual nakshatra relates to this theme of Shatabhishak. On February 25th, the moon goes into Uttara Bhadrapada with the Tarabala of 3, which is Vipad, or detraction. So Uttara Bhadrapada detracts from Shatabhishak. And what does that mean? That means the depths detract from the combinations, the 100 combinations. What Shatabhishak wants to do, ideally, is to take abstract, far out, invisible things and to make them tangible and concrete and real. That's what Shatabhishak really should be doing. Uttara Bhadrapada has a difficult Tarabala related to Shatabhishak because Uttara Bhadrapada just goes into the depths of the oceans and stays there. So Uttara Bhadrapada is content to just stick with the abstract truth, doesn't need to make it very tangible. So it interferes with how Shatabhishak functions. So what you need to be aware of on February 25th, especially and throughout the month, is not to withdraw entirely from the superficial world, because the superficial world is not the superficial world. It's just the tangible layer of the spiritual world. So try to actually be fascinated with it. Try to interact with it and get a sense for the extraordinary depths that are within the commonplace things that you experience every day. On March 3rd, the moon ingresses to Ardra, and with this ingress into Ardra, we start our second of 3 portions in the lunar cycle. So we come back to a first Tarabala, which is called Janma, which is literally birth, or it means manifestation. The Janma Tarabala is difficult because it's difficult to give birth. So Ardra challenges Shatabhishak. Why? Because the basic nature of Shatabhishak is to create. It takes nothing and makes it something. But the basic nature of Ardra is to destroy. So what does this mean for you on March 3rd and throughout this month? It means you want to avoid the obstacle of destroying when your intention is actually to learn how to combine better. The reason why Ardra destroys is because it identifies some flaw. So then it presses delete and gets rid of that problem. But what we need to do this month, and especially on March 3rd, is not rush to hit the delete button. Give things a chance to really determine whether or not they truly are flawed or whether they're worth keeping a connection to. Be wary of dismissing people and things abruptly just because of your pessimism or skepticism or previous experience with other people and things. On March 7th, the moon ingresses to Magha, and the Tarabala from Magha is Pratyak, the 5th Tarabala, which is antagonistic. So Magga, the throne, is antagonistic to, or it attacks Shatabhishak, the combiner. So here the idea is that, like I've mentioned, Shatabhishak is unconventional avant-garde. It's a discoverer, it's an explorer. Magga is very tradition-oriented. Magga tries to enforce rules. Shatabhishak tries to go anywhere it wants and explore everything. So March 7th is about that clash between following rules and exploring, conforming to tradition or being non-conformant and discovering new things. If you can find a way to combine tradition with the avant-garde, then you're going to really prosper. And the way to do that is to utilize Shatabhishak's talent, which is to see the abstract, how the abstract can become the tangible. So see the abstract concept behind the tangible tradition or rule or value that you're supposed to conform to, and see how that relates to the things that you're discovering. That will bring prosperity. On March 12th, the moon ingresses into Swati, and it begins the third of the 3 segments of this lunar cycle. So we come back to the first Tarabala, called Janma, or manifestation. It's a challenge to make things manifest, so Swati challenges the manifestation of Shatabhishak. Shatabhishak is trying to form combinations, but Swati's nature is to drift away from combinations. Swati tries to get away from relationships and things that it was previously combined with because of dissatisfaction with those things. Now, this is not something that you should give up on. The ability to get rid of waste products is really important to the health of a system, right? So the need to get away from bad stuff is not pausable. You can't get rid of it. But you can make it not interfere. So what I suggest for this month is to take a moment to really carefully make sure you study what it exactly is that you want to get away from. Because if you don't, you will fall into the bad Tarabala, or the challenge between Swati and Shatabhishak, which is you run from fire over here into a fire over here. So carefully try to understand the essence, not just the visible shape of your problem that you're trying to get away from. Understand the essence of it so that you don't run into a new version of it someplace else. On March 14th, the moon ingresses to Anuradha with Vipad Tarabala. Vipad means to detract or to weaken. So Anuradha, the lover, weakens Shatabhishak, the joiner. That's unusual. And why is that? The reason is that Anuradha has a dependency, where Shatabhishak is independent. Anuradha is dependent on somebody else to stimulate and arouse it. This is how it differs significantly from Shatabhishak. Shatabhishak doesn't need anything special to be aroused. It gets excited and stimulated from nothing because it can make stuff out of nothing. So the combination of these 2 nakshatras, Shatabhishak and Anuradha, is also of a sexual nature and a romantic overtone. But it's more about identifying a likely problem with sexual relationship or romantic relationship this month. And the details of this is that one partner needs stimulation, the other one doesn't. So one partner already feels stimulated and aroused and assumes that the relationship is stimulating, exciting, and arousing. Meanwhile, the other person is bored, not stimulated, not aroused. And Shatabhishak person doesn't even realize that the partner is not stimulated. So the thing to be careful about this month is to realize that becoming aroused and inspired and stimulated is not as easy for everybody as it might be for you. So you have to be not really wrapped up in your own stimulation and arousal, but be thinking about inspiring and stimulating others. On March 18th, the moon ingresses to Uttarashada with Naidhana Tarabala, the 7th Tarabala, which means setback. So Uttarashada, the winner, the victor, it hinders or sets back the joiner. That's a very interesting relationship. The problem is that Uttarashada is very clear-cut and assertive and decisive. But Shatabhishak is the explorer and the discoverer of new things. So what goes on is Uttarashada says something like, this is how these ideas are put together. Or this is how these people relate to each other. That attitude of Uttarashada leaves very little room for exploration or discovery. Now, you can't get rid of clarity, confidence, and decisiveness and expect to be prosperous. These are positive things. But you have to take this month, and especially March 18th, as an opportunity to think about how premature decisiveness or over-decisiveness or overconfidence might be affecting your life. It might be making you prematurely commit to relationships and convictions that aren't really all that wise, or you might not be doing it in a very mature way. Okay, well, that was just a small sample of all the awesome info that you get in my personal reading about the new moon cycle and how it relates to your chart. So I'm releasing this now for the March 2020 cycle. I mentioned in the very beginning of the video that this month's version of the reading has some improvements and new options. So I've improved the information that's in the report part of it itself, and now I'm giving the option to just get the report. So there's two options now. You can buy the reading either as a report only or as a full report with the interpretation. So what you get, both of them, is you'll get the new moon chart in a bi-wheel with your chart. And both of them you're going to get a full-length video, which you just got some excerpts from right now, but in the full-length video you'll have every single nakshatra. And in both of them you're going to get the key symbolism describing your planet's relationship to Shatabhishak, this month's nakshatra. If you get the full reading, what you additionally get is a personal video from me about 15 minutes long where I explain more nuances or something different, something personal about the way that your planets relate to Shatabhishak. So you have that choice this time. Also, both of them, the pricing now, there's still a discount. Like last month, I'm still going to give it at a discount for the first 10 days. Report-only version of the reading is just $54, and I'll discount it to $45 for 10 days. And the other one is $180 for the recorded personal reading, but I'll discount that to $108. I get a lot of these readings right away, so I get swamped, and there gets to be like backlog. So to make sure that you get the reading not just at the discount, but you get it in a timely manner, as timely as possible, order it right away. And you can do that by looking for the link in the description of this video. It should be taking you to vicdecara.com. All right, great. I hope to be reading for you soon, and I hope you have a great month. Thank you so much.